Okay, so this tutorial is just going to take you through the basics of the formal formatting for the extended essay. It's also going to be fairly useful for the formatting that you might be using in some of your internal assessments. What I have here is a selection of different headings with a brief description of what might appear under that heading. You may not have exactly the same headings as you see here, that's okay. A lot of your headings will be subject dependent. You should have a title page, a contents page, an introduction, then how you organise your main body of the essay is your choice. You may have subheadings there, you may not. In business we often have main results and findings, followed by an analysis and discussion. Then you will have your conclusions. Some subjects may also have recommendations attached to those conclusions. You will have a bibliography and you may have an appendix. So, with this setup, the first thing I need to be aware of is that all of my text should be in size 12 and that the appropriate font styles are either Arial or Times New Roman. Okay? Now, in order to manage my automatic contents page, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up some styles in my headings. So I'm going to tell the computer which items are a heading 1 and therefore should appear on the contents page, or a subheading, a heading 2, and therefore should appear as an underheading underneath that heading 1 in the contents page. So first of all here, title page information. I'm probably not going to have that in my contents page, it's just going to be the first page, so I'm not going to set that as a style. And actually my contents page itself, I don't want that to appear in the list of contents. Contents page 1, doesn't really make much sense. But the introduction should appear in my contents page. So that's the first heading that I'm going to pick. And I'm going to set that as a heading 1 because it's a main heading. As well, on the same page as the introduction, I'm expecting to also have my research question. I'm going to set this as a subheading of the introduction, heading 2. So all I'm doing is highlighting the heading and I'm saying whether it's a main heading, a heading 1, or a subheading, a heading 2. Main results and findings, that's a main heading, heading 1. But the 4 different tools that I'm going to be applying here, my SWOT, steeple, balance sheet and break even, these are all business tools, so they may not be relevant to your subject, but these would be subheadings. So any sections that you're going to have in your discussion that have their own subtitle, you might have here under your main results and findings, and you would name them each separately. So SWOT, steeple, balance sheet, just highlighting as I go and selecting heading 2. Don't worry about the fact that they have turned blue, okay? We can edit what the headings look like later on. It's the fact that we're assigning this style that's important. Analysis and discussion, that's going to be a heading 1. Conclusions, heading 1. Recommendations, heading 1. Bibliography, heading 1. And appendix, heading 1. Okay. Now, in order to show you the next stage, I'm just going to zoom out slightly. You don't have to do this, it's just that I can show you what the actual task looks like. So here I can see 2 of my text pages. The best formatting system to have for your extended essay is that each main heading should start on its next page. Even if the introduction only goes halfway down the first page, the main results and findings should go to the next page afterwards. So my title page here, that's going to be on page 1, contents is going to be on page 2, introduction research question is going to be on page 3. So to manage the spacing, rather than pressing enter a load of times, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cursor just at the start of where it says contents page there, and I'm going to enter a page break. And to do that, I just need a keyboard shortcut. It's 3 keys at the same time. Command, which is the CMD button just to the left of your spacebar, holding that. Holding the Shift button, which is the upwards arrow. So holding Command and Shift and just tap Enter. And what it does is it picks up that title and everything after it and it knocks it onto the next page. And what's useful about this is that if I now continue typing on this page up here, okay, that space does not continue to knock these spaces down, okay? They will stay where they are, and yet I can add content to the page above. So I'm going to do the same for introduction. I'm going to knock that onto the next page, Command, Shift, and Enter. Main results and findings, Command, Shift, and Enter. So remember, Command is the CMD button. It's just to the left of the space bar. The shift button is the upward arrow on the far left hand side of your keyboard, and enter is just the normal return button that you would use to add a gapped line. So I'm just going to move each of those headings onto their next page. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom in a little bit further so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. So here, now on the contents page, I can create my automatic table of contents. And the computer will create this table of contents purely based upon what is set as a heading, what is set as a subheading, and where they are in the document. So here on the contents page, I'm putting my cursor in. I have to go to my Insert tab right up at the top, and I'm looking for Insert, Index and Tables. When I click Index and Tables, I want to select Table of Contents, and I can choose what layout design I would like for my table of contents. Okay, it's completely up to you. I'm going to have the fancy one here because I quite like the underlining for each of the main headings. Press OK. Remember, I'm on Table of Contents here. If you can't see this option, you may be under Index. You need to move over a tab. Press OK when you're happy. And it has automatically created my table of contents with the correct page numbers for each item. Subheadings appearing underneath the main heading for that page. Okay, next thing I have to be aware of is my front page here. My front page has only 4 pieces of information on it. The research question, the title, the subject, and the word count. That's it. No name, no business management extended essay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, simply research question, title, the subject, so geography, history, etc., and word count. The difference between your research question and the title, you must have both. Okay, so you may have a research question, that's the question that you're investigating. Okay, the title of your essay will be a summary, shorter statement that will be not in a question format. Okay, so the research question should be in question format, whereas the title will not be in a question format. If you need help trying to figure out what kind of title to make your research question into, have a chat to your supervisor. Okay. The other thing that I need to be aware of is how I create footnotes. Now, this is one of the reasons why it's really important that our work is produced in Microsoft Word. This does not work if you do your essay in Pages and then convert it to Word. It just doesn't work, okay? So it is part of your formatting marks that you set this up correctly, and you will be losing your own marks if you insist on using Pages. Our teachers will not mark text that is edited in Pages, okay? So let's imagine that I find a useful wonder fact, okay? My wonder fact is not heading 1, so I'm just going to take that style off, make it normal text. This is a wonderful fact that I've just listed. I want to create a footnote for this wonderful fact. So all I need to do is ensure that the location that I found my wonderful fact from, for example, perhaps I found it in this Forbes article. This Forbes article from January 9th, 2018, so it's a recent article, talks about why 2018 could be a great growth year for McDonald's. Okay, I might want to reference this particular article for the wonderful fact that I've just written. All I have to do is use any citation generator. There's hundreds of them out there. You may be familiar with EasyBib, okay? It's not the only one. All you need is a citation generator. Doesn't matter which one, so long as you produce your citations in MLA8 format. Okay, so let's have a look at what that means. I can pick up my URL here, Command+C to copy, and I jump into EasyBib. I only want to create citations. Click. This is a website, that's what I'm sourcing, and I'm sourcing MLA8. If I'm sourcing something different, like a book or a journal, a newspaper, a film or an online video, so if you've got data from a video that you found, a documentary you found on YouTube, you can source those as well, okay? Whatever source you've got, you place the site URL list here in the source box, and you press Cite. Now, 4 steps. It'll tell us what it's found, it'll ask me if I want to add anything else, and then it will create the citation. So here's what I found, the name of the article. Am I happy with that? Yes. I'm going to press Cite. Okay, reviewing the information. It's already found the article title, the URL, the website title, the date accessed, the date published. They may need help with the publisher or sponsor. Okay, so they can't find that. So I can press Next again. And it asks me, do I want to add any missing information? So I can see here what it's brought in. Okay, and if there are spaces, if there are gaps, if I know who the author is, for example, I can add it here. So I'll check, and yes, the author is called the Trefis team, so it's a team collaboration piece. So I'm going to leave that as it is. However, if you see that this is empty and you can check on your article that there was a date published or that there is an author, then you can add that data in manually. All I now need to do is press Complete Citation. The citation is generated. Okay, and here I find my citation. Team Trefis, here's why 2018 could be a growth year for McDonald's. Notice that I have lots of different citations in my list. That's because I just keep my EasyBib tab open. Okay, so you can create lots of different ones and then you can come back and copy them all across when you're ready. So I'm going to pick this one up, okay, and I'm going to copy, Command and C to copy, and I'm going to go back to my formal document formatting, and after my wonder fact here, I'm going to insert a footnote. Okay, so I do that by going up to the top menu again, Insert, okay, and this time I'm looking for Footnote. It asks me where do I want my footnote to sit. You usually want them to sit at the bottom of the page. The difference between a footnote and an endnote is footnotes sit at the bottom of every page and relevant to the references on that page, whereas endnotes move all of your footnotes to the end of the document. So for now we want the footnotes at the bottom of the page. I'm going to press Insert here. Number 1 appears after my fact, and down here I can paste my footnote. Okay, now this is the full footnote and it includes the URL website, as you can see. Actually, in the footnotes here, I don't need to include the website. I can delete the website. I only need it to finish on the date of publishing. However, when I go to the end of my bibliography, I do need to make sure that it is with the website. Also important to check that your bibliography is in alphabetical order of the author. So the first fact that appears is the author, and they should be in alphabetical order. Okay, so in the bibliography, I must include the URL of the website, whereas underneath in the footnote here, I don't need the URL of the website. So if you've got a long list of URLs, of references, footnotes here, and it's taking up a lot of space, then you can always remove the websites, and that's a way of saving space. Okay. If I need to add another wonderful fact, all I have to do then is again go to Insert and Footnote. Okay, and it will insert my next footnote, number 2, and it creates the space for it down at the bottom. And this is how you should use Word for footnoting. Okay, so if you have any problems, please feel free to come and see me, but this should be the type of layout that you are using.